So,
How are you, Paul?
all right.
Okay.
Fine so far. Thank you. Fine. Yeah. Doing quite okay. And yeah, at the moment,
Mm.
and that's as good as it is at the moment. But I
Yeah.
trying my very best to, uh, yeah, stay through
You
it.
stay positive. Yeah. How did how did
Mm.
lockdown affect you? I mean, let's start at the beginning at March last year. So, did you have projects and things
Mhm.
that were cancelled at that time?
Yes, I was in rehearsals for a project I very liked very much because I also um, played the main character, which also was for me like, oh wow, it's a big role, it's a thing, yeah, cool. Um, Things are starting to move forward and so on. And yeah, and it was we were during rehearsal, and our director, the lovely Uschi Leitner, suddenly got a phone call and left rehearsals while we went on. And suddenly she came back with stone faced, and she was like, "The theater just called, they canceled." And we were like, "What?" Because back then it was like we already started rehearsal, and then it was like we had um, the information. Okay, for events that are indoor, only that maximum of people, and so on and so on. And we were like, okay, that's fine because the theater isn't that big, and this will work out. And then she comes back and like, theater just canceled. They just called, it's too risky for them, they canceled. And we were all like, oh wow, we already have been like, I think there were 3 weeks left or 4 weeks left until the first performance. And yeah, that was like, oh wow, okay. And hmm, okay, so we have to wait now. What will happen next, or what are the things that will come or time might show? But the beginning was kind of a shock. It was we also weren't that sure it's if the theater is too anxious or too much scared um, of bringing the pandemic or the virus, as it was called back then, into the theater. And yeah, there weren't also any health care thing. You weren't wearing a mask back then as well,
Mm.
so
So,
no one really knew what it was. So yeah.
so people, so everybody were a bit skeptical about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what was this piece that you were rehearsing for?
Der Schüler Gerber
Mm.
von Friedrich Thorberg, and I played the main character, Schüler Gerber. And
Yeah.
it wasn't like a big production, but for me it was big because it was the main part, and the ensemble was great, the colleagues were great, and yeah, you actually you can't say that there's one main role or one main character, because we were the ensemble was quite limited up to, I think, 6 or 7 people. I think we were yeah, 6 or 7 people, and everybody except for me played different roles for me and another colleague of mine. So yeah, and this was something like, there were so many things this year where I thought, oh wow, it's really moving on. There's so many projects with also big roles for me, and parts I want to play in, and good plays and comedies, and where I was like, oh yes, this year, and then it was like, and then it was like, okay, we'll have to wait. We'll have to see what are the directions we get from the government, and yeah.
Yeah, because you are freelance, so in situations like this, for example, so you're not connected to a theater,
Yeah.
you just get paid for that specific production.
Yeah, for each production individually,
Yeah.
and yeah, and this is something I'm quite used to have no to not being able to plan ahead quite for a long time. It's quite great if I can say, okay, for the next 6 months, okay, I have a plan. I know, okay, I'm at that theater, I'll play here, I'll play there, and but there are also times when nothing comes, and when it's quite calm, and then you're like, okay, I have to look, what can I do in the meantime? But that was the thing that also surprised me. How it felt strange, because the thing normally is when you're unemployed, or in my case, if I don't have if I'm not working or anything, or I don't have anything the following months coming up, there's always in the back head, there's the possibility that you could work. There's, who knows, maybe someone calls, hey, someone got sick, can you jump in for him? And that would be like, yeah, of course, sure. But this possibility at the moment is non-existent. And this is, I think that's what changes it that much. Yeah.
Yeah, because now you've always had the hope. Now that hope is gone. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of, because it's not possible.
Yeah. But it's interesting that you say that your career is almost that it you used to this, not having this fixed income, not just income, but not having fixed jobs. So you can sort of rearrange your life around that, and you know what to do in quiet times. And but of course, this, as you say, it's a different quiet time now, because it's yeah. So how do you motivate yourself?
Pardon?
How do you motivate yourself at the moment? Or how did you motivate yourself after, in the first, let's talk about the first lockdown now. So, so of course, then you probably heard that many other projects got cancelled that you had further in the year, or was there still a possibility that that could go ahead?
Yeah, what 2020 was quite a bumpy road, I have to say. Not also according to the many jobs and shows that got cancelled. It was like, I don't know, the first thing was like, because my girlfriend was on Erasmus. She was in Denmark for half a year. Or it was planned that she would be there for half a year. And then like 4 weeks after she left, she was like, okay, I have to come home. I can't stay. We don't know the actual situation. Will the borders be closed? We don't know. It's so unsure. And she took action, and she came back to Vienna. And yes, then it was like, yes, we were at home. We were spending time at home. We started doing homework out in the morning, where also she was quite motivating, and I was very thankful for that. And yes, we were quite just, I think, living through the day. And for sure, we had our fixed points where we need to go for grocery shopping. We have to, look forward or have anything to focus on. But it was like it was quite, I don't know, you were just living from day to day to day and hoping for any, for hearing the government or anyone saying, okay, we got a solution, you can do this, and then it's fine again. And this was like, okay, that was non-existent for us, or for us to arrange it. But yeah, the sport in the morning was quite motivating at first, and yeah, and then we started by taking walks, and yes, the thing is, I personally was in the lucky situation that I never had quite a big gap between jobs, where I'm very, very thankful for this and everything. And now I'm, that was something very new to me, that I have to arrange myself with all this time now I have without rehearsing for anything. And yeah, so the sport, and especially my girlfriend Jana, was very motivating, which I'm so thankful for. Yeah, and that's what it was during the first lockdown in general. We had it quite calm. We almost didn't saw any of our family members sometimes, but with distance, and yeah. We also one time took a walk to her parents who live the 12th district, so that was about good 1 hour of walk through Vienna, but it was very nice. It was quite nice to walk this distance, and yeah. So
also in that time, I mean, even though it was disappointing, but did you also find something positive from that, or did you think, well, you know, we'll use this time and rethink things, or was it just more of the anxiety of the whole situation?
Yeah, we thought a lot of things, like, okay, what can we do? What will be something to be? Okay, this is all because so essential at the moment. I think your whole life gets, how to say it good, cooked down to a minimum. And then you have this like, okay, this is what's left, and this is what I can do. There's no going to a restaurant, there's no meeting friends at a bar or at the club, or no traveling abroad. So that's these were all factors where we were like, okay, so now this is kind of a limited thing, and we also started to see, hey, how lucky are we to have a flat where we can live and we can stay, how lucky we are to have food in our fridge, to be able to pay the cost for our living room, the electricity, the heating. And so it was like also part of being thankful. Was quite, we were really like, hey, how lucky are we, because we're able to survive in that way we lived before, in kind of a way. For sure there were no extras like going for a drink or going to have dinner or something like that. But yeah, it was quite a thankful is the word I think we would fit the best. Yeah, to be thankful. And we also, we did the thing. There was a list posted online where, what have you done during lockdown, where you could tick like a list, and there were like we ticked quite a lot, like cleaning the whole flat, checking your storage and your fridge, started to make sourdough bread, started to make banana bread, and so on. We both have always been very fond of cooking, so we also got a little bit more into that. Yeah.
And then did you realize that it will take this long? Did you think about that?
No. I always had the hope, like the first time when it was announced, and the first time when it was like, okay, there's a serious problem, we have to do something. I was sitting with friends in a studio of theirs, actors friends, and we were sitting there and talking about the actual situation and and how it's going to be. And then it was like, okay, lockdown is coming. And we were like, oh, okay. And I personally said to them, yeah, sure, but in summer at our summer job, where part of my friends were also hired, I was like, yeah, we'll sit at the lake and we'll laugh about all of this. And yes, that didn't happen. But no, I didn't. I always thought, okay, then with the starting of summer, where there were again this partial openings again, like, okay, you can, there was also the wearing masks was again not any more necessary for special parts or for some places. And it was like, okay, sounds like could work out that way. And then, but in April, the main summer job, summer theater job was cancelled, and I was like, okay, okay, this is might take longer than I thought. And then the real like down going thing, or the like where my mood really reached its lowest points were in about autumn time, where it was like, yeah, I don't know how long this is going to be. I don't know when to work again in the way that I work, because I think theater especially, singing and so on for sure too, but theater and in generally people on stage, this is something you cannot do with a mask. It's something you cannot, you can't play a kissing scene 2 meters apart from each other. For example, this is theater is always moving and always something so full of life, and that's something with that strict conditions that are at the moment up, and that's something almost impossible. For sure, you can test yourself and everything at the moment now. This is, I think, this is something that gives a little bit more of a perspective, but yeah, it was like I was really thinking about when will I be able to work normally again, and I'm still kind of asking me this question: when will be the time when this will partially be over? But yeah, we'll see.
Well, I also hear from musicians that it's the mask and it's that facial expression, you know, that's part of the job. And you know that's the hinderness really, that's that way of expressing, using your face, that the mask almost takes away.
Yeah. That's also for example, in Commedia dell'arte, this is where you have this partially masks which go like here, where you have the classic characters, but so this is static, and your mouth section is something you can use. But I think, and you for sure you can see the eyes through the mask, but this is still something so important. I think this is such an important area, and for sure I can make facial expressions with this and this and this, but there's always a part missing. And I think the mouth section, or like the lower half of the face, is something so important in our communication in general, and for sure then in the arts and performances where this is so necessary. especially on theater. Yeah, it's something very important. For sure, you can do puppetry and so on. I think where you don't need a face because you have the puppet, but for live theater, it's enormously important. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to ask you, and I asked this to all the artists. Do you think art is being valued, or artists are being valued? Because art can be, we think art also can we see as cinema and things like that, but I'm thinking of artists, you know, if you think that they are valued.
At the moment or in generally?
Pardon?
At the moment or in general?
In general.
I think artists in general, good question. I think if you're not so into the material of art, I think if you don't have this connection with art, or if you're not that person that goes to cinema that much, or theater, concerts, live galleries, etc., readings, anything like that, I think then you're like, yeah, it's a segment of our community, but I don't really know about them. I don't really care about them. Yeah, but then I think if you're in this community, or if you're a passionate theater goer, or you love the museums, or anything like that, or if you have an interest in art, I think then for sure you can say artists are something, or are people that are very important. And yeah, so they are, I think that, yeah, for me it depends. What relationship do you have with art, or what's your relationship with it?
Yeah, because I think because with all the artists I speak to and that I photographed as well, I got an insight into, you know, a little bit of an insight into the world, in the artist world. And although I'm not you know, such a big theater and concert goer, I was actually amazed that, but I'm very interested in art, but I'm amazed at how, for example, you were telling now about these things, but we see actors, for example, on the stage. We know there's rehearsals going on and so on, but we don't really have that much of an insight. So it looks all glamorous because you're in costume, or you're in this play, or yeah, you know, and then, but we don't really see the life, or you know, it's the same in ballet. People think it looks so easy. Oh, you know, they must be talented because it just happens. Yeah. But of course, with you also, and with art, any form of art, it's a constant study, and you never stop improving, always studying, always bettering yourselves. And I wonder just if
the
you
process
say now
that never stops. Yeah,
so you're saying now, good, people are interested in art, you know, who visit theater often, they have an appreciation. But this is the part that I'm talking about, is the people who don't. And how do we solve that? You know, how do we solve the question of art being valued, and art being valued, and the artists being valued who give us this art, for example?
I think that maybe many people that are not working with art in any kind. For example, you with the photography and me with the acting and so on. I think if you take art away for one day in any form, I think then it would be more present to people how important it is and what in general it is, because art isn't only acting or dancing or taking beautiful pictures, and or it's everything. It's building. It's lifestyle. It's music. It's television. It's books. It's paintings. It's everything. It's everything human made, and that's so important. I think that people don't forget that this is something we get in touch every single day, and I don't know how to maybe to cherish this more, but I think it's very important to I don't know, to the people that are not that familiar with it, or how to give them a more like a clearer voice. I don't know, more than saying we are artists, we have to, this is our life, this is the job we do. It's not a hobby. It's not like, yes, I like to do this in my spare time or my leisure time or anything. That's the job I want. And I think the best explanation is from the German word Beruf, which comes from Berufung. So you're meant to do this. This is what my inner life lives and what I burn for. And yeah, this is
it is your calling then.
Totally. Yeah, and I think that's that's something more people should think about, because there's at the moment enough time to think about. But
But this is why I also think about educating children in art, and that we have to have art as a main subject alongside maths and science, because the link between the subjects are very close also. And if we we value the maths and the science so much, and this is why there's a respect also for people who study in maths and science. The moment you hear somebody is a scientist or a doctor or a mathematician, then there's suddenly a great value to it. I'm not talking just about financial value. I'm talking about value as how the jobs are valued from our perception. And I think if we could teach art in school as an important subject, whereas drama is not an afternoon activity, and not seen as just entertainment or just for a certain group of children, but that even the child that's maybe shy or doesn't have the confidence gets help to do that, to do the drama, or even if the children who are not interested in drama can do stage management, or there's so many things in art that children can start or that can branch out then, but that the basics for every child is there, that they have all a chance to learn about music, to learn about I mean, we learn in school language, like and do poems and things, but that's also part. Storytelling is drama. The storytelling, and as I say, music, dance, movement, these things are all they all come together. I mean, if you just think an opera, it's about the singing, but it's also about the acting, you know, so that's
Totally,
a connection.
totally.
That, you know, playing the piano is part of acting. It's a part of expressing yourself.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
these things are all so strongly connected. And first of all, I think that we give the children the chance because it's a way of expressing. And also, I think it's in brain development now that it's such an important part. And then, of course, in future, I can just imagine that if somebody had just an insight into what it is to be an artist or art or some form, that there will be more interest and that there will be more appreciation for the artists who eventually then become the artists, because not everybody will. Yeah.
No, for sure not. But I think just what popped up in my head is that all of these things like dancing and acting and ballet and photographing and so on. These are all, as you said, things that are not really taught in school, except for then further education then later on, or if you say, okay, that's what I wanted to do, so I want to go into this direction. And these are all things that as a school kid you do in your free time, in your leisure time, after school, after you finished homework. For sure you have piano lessons on Monday, and then on Wednesday you go to acting class, and so on. And I think it's important not just to see it as a hobby if you do it as a professional, or if you have an education in that segment of art. So, and that's the thing. I think for sure some people can't imagine why are you doing this? How are you doing this? How can you memorize all these words? And so, yeah, classic question. But then I say, yeah, but I personally ask myself, how can someone in a chemistry know all the ingredients, or what to take for what, or how can a sportsman know, oh, that was a foul because da. And this is all like, yeah, you have your passion for this, your passion for that, and I have my passion for acting, for example. And this is like, I think that's something some people might forget. Also in my own family, sometimes the question comes up, yes, but how do you memorize all of this? For example, especially when I play 2 shows the same time, and then it's like, yeah, but how did you? And yeah, it's my job, and these are two pair of shoes, and I have to be able to work in both of them and give my very best. And this is, it's my job.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is, and I think yeah, this appreciation is important, to see it not just as a hobby in your leisure time.
Do people sometimes ask you, when you say they ask you what job do you do, and you say I'm an actor, do they ask you, but what's your real job?
Oh yes, I had once the question, and when I was, I think, I'm not sure if I already was at acting school, but someone asked me, oh, and what are you doing? What are you studying? And so I was like, yes, I'm trying to, or I'm looking forward to become an actor, or I'm attending acting school. And he was like, oh, wow, what can you work later as? A selling person or a politician, I think. And I was like, for sure I was younger back then, but when I would hear this nowadays, I would ask him, are there any films or anything that you really, really like? What are the people's job in this film? What are they doing? I'll ask you. And it was like, I'm also not asking. I would never say, oh, you're a teacher. You don't like to work very hard, aren't you? So that's exactly, something disrespectful. This is so, you know nothing about this work. For sure, there are some aspects that give you a feeling of, oh, I know what it's about. Oh, I know, okay. Actors have it so easy. They work 2 hours a day. And no, there's rehearsals. You have to work in advance. You have to memorize your lines. There are so many more things. And this is something that kind of cringes me up when someone is this like, yeah, but why is my job less important to a society, or especially for me? Why is this job less important than another person?
Yeah.
And
But Paul, what made you decide to become an actor? What age did you start acting?
I started very young. I was always like, I love to put on costumes as a child. I love to play around. I love to joke a lot. I love puppetry. I love to play with, not with, puppetry. You have to say puppetry, not puppets, because it's fast assumed with Barbie and co. But hey, no offense with that. If you like to play with Barbie, play with Barbie. I did this for a very long time, played with hand puppets. And then I thought about, and then I started about the age of 6 or 7, I went to a free acting class. The first, it was called the first Lower Austrian acting school for kids, which I attended once a week. And it was taught by an elderly lady. She was very great, Anneliese Schodel. And yes, this was the start, because we also had then shows and everything, and we did warm-ups and speaking education, how to say things right on stage. And this was about very young, I think, so about 3, 4-ish. I always liked it. But then with 6, 7, 8, it got more and more like I really like doing this. I really, really like doing this. Maybe I should do something about it. And then getting older, and it was like, okay, what school can I attend to easy the way for me, or to get to my goal to become an actor? And then my parents were like, okay, first of all, we'd like to have to finish school first, and then you can do it, can do whatever you want. They were never like, oh, this is a bad job, you can't earn any more money with that, or why don't you want something serious? They never were like that, because I think they also always have seen this, that I always was a little bit of kind showing off. And so and they were like, okay, there's something Paul is very passionate about. And I'm very grateful for that they never said no, or they never said, no, that's not a good job, go to a bank, or try to get a job in office. And I'm very grateful for that. And then after finishing school and civil service, then I applied for acting schools and had a couple of I don't know how to say it in English, Vorsprechen. So kind of casting there for the school.
So auditions.
Audition. Thank you so much for audition. And then I went for a couple of auditions for acting schools, and then I luckily got accepted. And and then I was in acting school, which was a great time. For sure, also busy and exhausting, and I don't like to, but in general, it was a great time, and then never want to miss it.
And a good preparation for you.
Yes, in general, I have to say, it was fun, and it was good to do the things I did when I was 6 in this acting school. It was great to have people around me the same age, which are also this foolish, or also like to act and to do this, and also burn for that. And that was great, and to have this kind of ensemble feeling, to have people around you, which all trying to make the best out of it. And this was great. This was great. Yeah.
Do you find between actors now? I speak to a lot of musicians. This is the first time I speak to an actor, but do you find a bit more solidarity between actors, bit more community feeling? You know, that everybody understands now that it's a difficult situation, and that they're a bit more, you know, that there's a bit more togetherness of that feeling?
Yes and no. I think there are two kinds of colleagues, I'd like to say, because they are. Some of them are like, okay, we're all in this, we can't do anything. And then I have the feeling some of them are more like, are very, very focused on the next thing, or are still rehearsing for something, where I'm like, I'd like to rehearse for something too, but I'm for sure there's a part of envy at it, but there's also like, I'm so, for example, a former colleague of mine from acting class, which is very, very active, also doing series for Netflix and everything, and I'm like, she's doing quite a lot, and what am I doing? I'm sitting here. But I think everyone tries to do the best through now. I think everyone knows of, yes, I know there's not much we can do. We can start a podcast and or try to rehearse in advance or anything. But if you don't have any fixed job at the big theater where you might have the opportunity to play soon again, then for sure it's easier, because you have more a goal or perspective where you can focus on. That's the thing I also worried about the most, because you don't have any real perspective. For sure now the summer job is coming closer and closer, and at the moment it looks like it will turn out to work, and I got all of my fingers crossed to that this will happen. But this lack of perspective was something that was very, very hard. And I think a lot of actors are struggling with that, especially for those who aren't in an agency, that aren't at the big theater, that don't have kind of, oh, okay, I got several projects ahead and they will work out. For sure, I also have a project that was like, okay, we can't play now. As soon as the theater opens, we will play this. But we don't know when. For sure, it's nice to know, okay, if theaters can open again, we will do something and play. But at the moment, I don't know when.
But Paul, tell me, what is your wish for the future? What is your wish for when this whole pandemic is over, or the lockdown is over? How would you like things to be?
More more present. For example, to have in mind, okay, we are very, 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 very privileged to be here in Austria, and we're very, very, very privileged that we don't have any war going on. We don't have any problems with food. We don't have any problems with with the health system, except the COVID thing, but that's another thing. In case Corona and COVID thing is finished, as you said, after the lockdown, to be more grateful and be more, don't take everything for granted. To be aware of, hey, wow, that was all once not possible. It was not possible to be at a bar that's filled with people and everything is laughing and having a good time and drinking. And that was not possible. I think it's very important also to think about, okay, what is really necessary in life? What is really a thing I want or what I need for staying sane or for to make it through the day. For sure, my girlfriend and I will also talked about, okay, when it's possible again, where do we want to travel first? And we were like, yes, okay, at the moment it isn't possible, but also to, with more respect and more gratefulness, for example, I'd say to the things we had before that are at the moment not possible, to rethink several systems of living and behaving, going also back to the root, okay, why did this all started? Where did it started? What were the reasons for it? And how could it spread so much? And because I think that the humanity is, and especially the privileged countries like general parts of Europe and so on, like, okay, we always want more, we need more, we want that. There's always we always earn more, the statistics, we always want the statistics with earning more money, want to go up. And I was like, and I personally think like, okay, it can't always go up. There have to be downs too, any time, but it can't be always like, okay, we need more effort, we need more work, we need more money we need 130%. It has to get more. And I was like, okay, maybe think more calmer, and also the aspect of sustainability for sure, which is also, I think, quite a big and important aspect. And to be more grateful for the things you have after my whole blah blah now, but be more grateful for the things you have, and be thankful if you can afford several things, like traveling, like going to have dinner, like seeing your friends, like to be a little bit more grateful. It don't have to be, oh, I'm grateful for everything, but just cherish it. Just be aware of what you have. And it doesn't have to be always the thing you see in the internet or on Instagram or on Facebook. Oh, they're having that. Oh, I wanted to. Oh, it looks great. For sure. I was also like, I'm going to miss traveling now, miss lying at the beach. But hey, guess what? Austria has great rivers, great lakes. I don't want to make any Austria advertisement or anything, but cherish the things you have. That's the conclusion. Cherish the things you have and be thankful for them.
Well, by the way, that was not blah blah. That was very wonderful wishes. I mean, that's very great. Yes. And and I must also say that I'm so grateful that you are my first actor that I'm speaking to.
Also very grateful.
And also grateful because you and Jana were my very first picture of this project. Yes.
Yeah. I was really surprised when you asked us for, I'd like to do something that now during the lockdown, you can tell me if you don't want to, and I want you to. And I was like, okay, is this going to be nude shooting or something like that? Okay, we'll see. But Petra is professional. It will look good at the end of the day. But it was your Moments at Lockdown series, and we were very grateful to be the first couple. So thank you again also for asking that.
No, I must say I was so hesitant to do it, and at some point I wanted to say to you, "Oh, just leave it," because I just didn't think, I just thought, what am I doing? And but of course, after I did it, and you gave me the bread in the basket, that was absolutely fantastic. that was the great. Then I was so hyped up, and I was just on a roll, and then I went for it. So that's so great.
Thank you
so
for the
much.
talk and the nice interview. I'm feeling so privileged, given an interview via Zoom.
Yeah.
feeling like almost really successful.
But you are definitely.